Okay, here we have the final drop of the Black Sheep Company versus AIEL games. We're on Alpine Peaks, the limit's 300 tons. We've got Theta right here in between these two small mountains. We've got one team up off in the distance that way, and the other one will be behind us here somewhere. The spawn points on this map are very far apart, so it might take a while to actually find out where they've been dropped. Oh, geez, all the way down here. They're going to have a very, very long trek to get back to Theta. Let's just see who that is. That is actually AIEL. So they're way down in the sticks there, unfortunately. Armed, a fair bit closer to the cap. They should easily get there first. Now they're bringing a Hunchback, Forest Peach will be SRMs, a Direwolf, probably Gauss, a 1S Battlemaster, I guess would be ER Large, and a 9S Thunderbolt, possibly the PPCs, or even LRMs perhaps. See if we can have a quick kind of look and see. Doesn't really look like LRMs. Alright, so for AIEL, we have a Hellbringer, a Ebon Jag, a Battlemaster 2C, and a Warhawk. They're going to be relatively quick compared to that Direwolf, so they may actually not do too bad a job of getting towards Theta. So as predicted, Hunch is bringing SRMs. Direwolf with Gauss and ER Large. Got ER Large and Battlemaster 1S, and 2 ER Large, 2 SRM6, 3 medium lasers, and 4 medium lasers and machine gun. Bit of a mixed bag there, but those 2 ER Large will hopefully work alright.
Artillery strike.
So for the Hellbringer on AIEL side, more ER Large,
airstrike online.
Jag, LRMs actually, large pulses and medium lasers, ER Large on the Battlemaster, and for the Warhawk some more LRMs and some ER Large lasers. So they've actually brought enough LRMs to make it a bit difficult for ARM to stay at range. They're going to want to try and close in, or do the exact opposite and stay as far as possible. So we've got both teams fighting each other for the first time. A bit of a fire's been exchanged. At this point it's all just going to be paint. Though it does actually look like Armed has come off probably a little bit worse in the exchange. We've already got smoke coming off the arm of that Direwolf, which is not great. Hopefully he does not have much weapon. I think for the moment we're probably going to see a lot of trading here. Though AIEL may, given their proximity to the base, just try and push straight for it. The Hunchy of Armed trying to close in, it looks like. Given his loadout, that is probably the best move. The only issue being that he's not going to want to get caught by himself, because he will get taken out very quickly. Given the location of AIEL's mechs here at the moment, if he pushes out there, he's going to be directly in their firing line. So he's going to have to be careful about when he chooses to make that run for Theta, if that's what he's planning on doing. At the moment he is just sitting in cover. We've got AIEL rotating back to the other side of the mountain. I'm just trying to maintain that high position, but that Direwolf is really taking a beating. The Hellbringer though on AIEL's side has taken a fair bit of damage, but I doubt it's actually going to be anything substantial. It's missing his arm almost, but no weapons there, so no real big deal at the moment. We've still got some large laser fire being exchanged. That Direwolf trying to make as much use of his Gauss while he can. And here come the LRMs. I'm betting that was not something that were predicting there. That Direwolf copying a fair number of them. And it'll be interesting to see how they react to this. If they decide to fall back, try and get the range far enough that they can't get hit by the LRMs, or if they decide to try and close that range. At the moment they're looking at about 1,000 meters to try and close, which really is not going to go too well for them. The there is a fair bit of cover they could use if they wanted to come down off that ridge and try and get around behind them. But that dive is just going to be too slow, and AIEL with their Warhawk, they're going to be able to relocate pretty quickly and respond to that if necessary. Maybe the ARM just try and keep this long range engagement going, just do the hill humping, trying to just get their one extreme range Battlemaster there to do the poking, get back into cover before the LRMs reach them. AIEL clustering again at this side facing theatre, possibly thinking about trying to get a mech on there so they don't have to do this long range engagement for too much longer. And they are moving out from cover. They are trying to switch across to that other hill, at least with two of their mechs, the two heavies. And it looks like their Warhawk's going to go with them as well. And just like that, the Hellbringer's down and out. Excellent work there with the trading. But they still have a long way to go armed here. They've taken out one of the mechs. They've got their Direwolf almost ineffective in terms of being able to take any damage. That Thunderbolt's not looking great, neither is the Battlemaster. And they're a long way from cap. So there's not really going to be any way for them to win this on cap. They are really just going to have to try and keep the trades up and try and take the kills. At the moment, the Hunchy is the only mech that's above 90%. That Eben Jag, the only mech for AIEL above 80%. Unfortunately for ARM, they're not really going to have much more chance. Trade with their dial, he's open all over. Fortunately, the LRMs do spread their damage, so as long as he doesn't get hit by any lasers or Gauss, for example, he should be able to do a couple more pokes before he really can't afford to do that. It's really going to come down to this Battlemaster. He's caught CT. So, unfortunately, that's their best trading mech. He's got the highest mounted energy hardpoints, most range. He's really going to have to do his best to stay alive. Because if he doesn't,
new target
really
acquired. Warning, incoming missile.
This Thunderbolt, not too bad, but doesn't really have the high
Left arm destroyed.
to do it effectively.
Machine gun destroyed.
He's lost
Heat
his
sink
arm.
destroyed.
Machine guns not really much to worry about. And it looks like ARM has finally decided that the ridge is no longer advantageous for them. They're going to try and get in a bit closer, especially given that AIEL have capped. They need to respond to that. AIEL here quite spread out. If they can push hard towards this Warhawk, they might just catch him by himself. That Battlemaster though, he's going to have to be very careful because he's pretty much the last mech they have that's capable of tanking. The Hunchy will do a fair job of it, but he's only a medium, so he doesn't have the most armor. So ARM neutralised the cap. They're probably going to stay on it just to try and get a little bit more back in the points game, because otherwise they're going to lose it on cap. They are down to a bit over a minute and a half remaining. They're a fair way down on the cap points. They have got it turned, but I don't know if that's going to be enough for them to win it on caps alone. They are pushing in, however. That Thunderbolt a bit far out in front of his teammates. He's getting focused quite badly. Backing up a little bit. The Hunchy is trying to close. They've taken out that Warhawk. They've got a mech either side. The Eben Jag's up high, as is the Battlemaster. Both are going to be quite inaccessible without the jump jets. And it looks like they are going to move onto the Battlemaster. He's looking pretty bad shape, so that Hunchy should have no difficulty taking him out in a couple of volleys. That Eben Jag, they're raining LRMs on him. And that's now down to a 3v1 game. The Eben Jag's right up on top there. And it looks like Armed will be able to take this on the points alone too. So at this stage they don't really have to go and engage, they really just have to survive. But that Eben Jag does look like it's ready to drop, so if they can get close enough, he'll be very easy to take out. The Battlemaster is behind him, and it looks like they're going to have a bit of a duel
Target
here.
acquired.
Jack, no idea who the Battlemaster is. Realises now one more shot left. Just like that. So it's now down to the Hunchy and the Evan Jag. Too much distance to be closed and killed at this point, so it will be a cap win for Armed. Timeout. Very close game. Very close trades for the majority of that match. It was just being able to take out that Halbring a little bit earlier than AIEL would have liked is what managed to get them the win. Excellent work there in the Battlemaster from Eski. Massive amounts of damage. Very good work there by Armed. Quite good damage on the long range mechs. Obviously that short range Hunchy was really only able to get some damage on that Battlemaster and that Warhawk near the end of that game. The Alarems do seem to have given the quite a bit of damage numbers to AIEL, but just the spread of the damage wasn't enough to take out the mechs as quickly as they needed to. Alright, that concludes the drops for this week. So we had 3 games to AIEL, 2 games to Armed, if I remember correctly. It might be 4-1 actually, but we'll just have to double check what's going to happen with the third drop where we had the Warhammer used, and we may have a rematch now. Otherwise we might just have a forfeit and have the win go to Armed, in which case it would be 3-2.